Testing. All right. Good afternoon, project directors. We are here today for a project director update of 2016. Can't believe how fast this year has come upon us. But I am Sandra Hurst, Director of Educator Effectiveness, and I have my team with me here today, and so I want to introduce everyone to you. If you know them only by name and you haven't seen their face, this will put a face and name together for you. Over to my left, I have Ann Crosser, and she is our APPEL director, and then we also have Mo Harness, our program advisor for new teachers. And to the left of me, Renee Nelson. She is Beginning Administrator's Program Advisor. And then Richard Wynn is our IT and procedure support for MOODLE and also for anything that has to do with the Beginning Administrators and also with APPEL and with novice teachers. So what we want to do today is to go over the purpose of this webcast. All right. Let's see if we can get that up. It's not coming up. There you go. Today we want to clarify mentoring requirements for the remainder of the year for both the NTs and the BAs. We're also going to give you an opportunity for project directors to ask questions. You may email ade.oeeadmin@arkansas.gov any questions that you might have if we don't answer those for you today. And then any questions that might be to individual schools and districts, because we don't want to mention any names through this webcast, would you please email richard.wind@arkansas.gov, and one of us or Richard will be able to answer that for you. So without any further ado, we are going to begin. And so I'm going to let Ann Crosser, sorry about that, I'm going to let Mo start off with novice teachers.
Hi, project directors. I'm glad you're out there in instant stream land. I'm Mo Harness, and I'm over the Novice Teacher Mentoring Program. Just to let you know what the requirements for the rest of this year will be, this semester. First of all, you need to know that novice teachers include those who we call traditional, who have gone through an educator prep program and they graduate with a standard license. It also includes, novice teachers also include non-traditional. You'll notice that has an asterisk beside it, and Ann Crosser is over the non-traditional program, and she will explain more about that after I get done with my presentation. Novice teachers also include teachers with technical permits. They teach in secondary schools, novice school counselors, and novice library media specialists. And those last two, most especially, what you want to know is these are novice teachers. They have graduated with a degree in school counseling or with a degree in library media specialist, but they have never taught in the classroom, and that is key. So we mentor those areas as well. It does not include school counselors or LMSs who have taught, and now they're going into this other field. So just to let you know that. The mentoring requirements for the remainder of the semester: the mentors need to meet with their novice teachers a minimum of once a month, and then also on an as-needed basis. And the mentors are going to be working with the novice teachers in supporting the novice teacher achieving the goals on their professional growth plan, or their PGP. The mentoring documentation is determined by you, the project director of your school district. Some things are required, and then the other things, such as your mentoring documentation, what is it you want to see to ensure that authentic mentoring has been taking place by your mentoring pairs. Project director, you want to keep a file of each novice teacher mentor pair and also each beginning administrator mentor pair. And this is so that you have that file in case for audit purposes or for documentation. In the first semester of mentoring for all novice teachers, the first thing I need to let you know is that unlike the beginning administrator program, who only get mentored starting in the fall, and Renee will speak about that in a moment, novice teachers can begin and have begun in January as well. So one of the things you want to remember, project directors, is that you need to think of mentoring according to semesters and according to the novice teacher's mentoring. If the novice teacher has started in January, it is their first semester of mentoring. So you'll need to be aware of that. So in the first semester of mentoring for all novice teachers, regardless of the type of license they hold, they will work on the Survive and Thrive module. I do want to tell you that the Survive and Thrive module is a guideline with links that we consider to be helpful. Educators put together the Survive and Thrive module. None of the items on the Survive and Thrive module is required by ADE. It is a guideline to help the novice teacher get their feet under them, and also these are things that seasoned teachers think about and plan for. Also in the first semester of mentoring for all novice teachers is the Survive and Thrive feedback survey, also known as the module completion form. Once the end of the semester is done, we want all novice teachers and mentors to take the feedback survey. It is from this that we are able to understand how the Survive and Thrive module worked, and we get feedback so that we can improve and know what to improve and also know what we're doing well. In the first semester of mentoring for novice teachers, there are 2 observations. The first observation is where the mentor observes the novice teacher, and the second observation is where the novice teacher observes the mentor. That is required. One of the things that other project directors have done, this is not required by ADE, but there is a mentor analysis form and a novice teacher analysis form that is available with those observations that the mentor and or novice teacher can fill out for documentation about their observations. And then lastly, you want the mentor and the novice teacher to complete the appropriate semester survey. And the reason I'm saying the appropriate semester survey is the survey varies according to the time of year. In the fall semester, and we're literally talking about the fall of the school year, it's called the Preparation Program Survey or the Program Preparation Survey, and both novice teachers and mentors take that in the fall. In the spring, the survey that mentors and novice teachers will take will be the end of year mentoring program survey. In the second semester of mentoring for all novice teachers, again, I'm going to bring this home because this is one of the questions that I get asked pretty often. If a novice teacher began their mentoring process last spring, that was their first semester. And then they finished in the fall, that is their second semester. If they're only required to be mentored for 2 semesters, then they finished. If they are in an alternative pathway for licensure, such as APPEL or MAT, then they would continue being mentored, and this might be their 3rd semester. So again, you want to think about the semester, what semester is the novice teacher in mentoring. For the second semester, it's still the Survive and Thrive module for second semester, the Survive and Thrive feedback survey, and the appropriate semester survey. For the spring this year, this survey will be the end of the year mentoring program survey because we're in the spring semester. In the 3rd semester of mentoring for all novice teachers, if it is applicable, those who are mentored for more than 2 semesters, it absolutely mimics the 1st semester for all novice teachers. So you can see that it's still the Survive and Thrive feedback survey, observation 1 and 2, and the appropriate semester survey. If the person is mentored for 4 semesters, this is what's applicable for that 4th semester of mentoring for novice teachers, the Survive and Thrive module, the Survive and Thrive feedback survey, and the appropriate semester survey. Again, this is new this year, so I wanted just to mention that the preparation program survey is available only in the fall, so it will not come up again until next fall. The certificate of semester completion is printed and signed by the BAs or the novice teachers, is printed and signed by the assigned mentors and by the project director. Project director, you do want to keep a copy of that certificate on file for mentoring documentation. Just to let you know, I have sent out a quick monthly guide, and one of the things is that preparation program survey is open right now and will continue to be open until January the 15th, which is this Friday. So if you had any who were supposed to take that survey and for some reason missed it, then they have an opportunity to take that survey now this week. It closes Friday. The other semester survey is available only in the spring, and it's the end of the year mentoring program survey. Here are the spring deadlines. January 15th, the last day the preparation program survey is open for novice teachers and beginning administrators. Again, it's for those who are unable to take the survey by the December deadline. February 15th is the last day to enter any new hire novice teacher and mentor pair. So this is an important date for you, project director, to remember. The next one has a little typo. It says if no entered, it means if not entered. That's MOEEs there. If not entered by this date, the novice teacher must wait to begin mentoring until the following semester. And the February 15th date is used to determine if additional funds are necessary to be sent to the school district. Important note is that Richard Wind, the assistant for both the beginning administrative program as well as the novice teacher mentoring program, he is the contact person in charge of procedures, which includes anything about pairing forms or changing pairs, etc. And you can see that Richard's email address is listed. Many of you already have experienced the kindness, patience, and expertise of Richard this year. May 1st is a deadline. All mentoring documentation is required by the project director, needs to be completed and submitted to the project director by May 1st. Both the BA and the NT, the Survive and Thrive resource module closes, and the BA and the NT and their mentors, please add that, will take the end of the year mentoring program survey. It opens on that date. May 15th is the last date to take that end of year mentoring program survey, and remember both the novice teacher and the mentor take that, as well as BAs and their mentors. Certificate of semester completion is printed and signed by BAs or novice teachers. They're assigned mentors and by you, the project director. And project director, you do want to keep a copy of the certificate on file for mentoring documentation. Mentor stipends. Before the project director disperses payment to the novice teacher and or the BA mentors, the project director must ensure the information in the pairing form or the report is accurate. Just to remind you about mentor stipends, that you do not pay or disperse payment to the mentors until you know that all mentoring work has been completed and submitted to you. Just to remind you, BA mentors receive $400 for the year. Novice teacher mentors receive $1,200 for the year. Any inquiries regarding grant monies or grant funds, please contact D'Angela Staples, and you can see that her email address is d'angela.staples@arkansas.gov, and that's who you contact regarding mentoring funds. This is the flow chart that is both on the teacher induction webpage as well as the beginning administrator webpage, and this helps you to know each role and what their responsibilities are. So I just wanted to remind you that this flow chart is available, and many have said it's been very helpful. Contact information. If you have any questions regarding MOODLE, please contact MOODLE Tech Support. You can see their phone number is bolded and large. And just to let you know that the voicemail, if you get their voicemail, it's going to say that the last 4 numbers are different from the original, but it is their voicemail. Just want to reemphasize that if you have any questions and need assistance in procedures, you want to contact Richard. Wind. If you have any questions regarding program content, contact me for novice teachers and contact Renee Nelson for beginning administrators. So we'll go now to non-traditional for Ann Crosser.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ann Crosser, and I am the APPEL Program Advisor. There have been lots of questions regarding how APPEL teachers should be mentored, so we're going to revisit that now. We'll talk about the following points. Points for discussion today are: for how long are the APPEL teachers mentored? How are they mentored? What's the APPEL option for mentoring? How are APPEL Year 2 participants mentored? And what's the difference in someone, an APPEL participant, being mentored in a public or private school setting? All right. So just to revisit this, the novices are currently enrolled in the APPEL program. They hold at least a bachelor's degree in an area other than education, and they hold a current valid 2-year provisional teaching license. APPEL novices are required to complete 4 semesters of documented mentoring before they are considered as program completers. APPEL novices can follow the guidelines for the Novice Teacher Mentoring Program that you just heard Mo lay out for you, or they have the option of substituting an APPEL module for a mentoring module, but only under certain conditions that we'll outline here in just a few minutes. They will work directly with their mentor, and they will utilize the MOODLE platform. APPEL novices, these guidelines allow for APPEL novices to substitute an APPEL module in place of a novice teacher mentoring module. They go through the Survive and Thrive. That's a good thing for them their first semester, as it is with any new teacher. And as Mo said, you know, that's a guideline for you to work with your APPEL teacher. But they can also use their APPEL module that they're currently going through to in place of something that they might do with Survive and Thrive. So that's between you and your novice. The APPEL program is very rigorous. They do have assignments that are due each month, and it might be that your time is better spent helping them with that particular assignment, guiding them through something that they're doing in the APPEL program. Okay, so the purpose of the APPEL Teacher Mentoring Guidelines is to help prevent the APPEL novice from duplicating work for the Novice Teacher Mentoring Program that's already been done or will be done in the APPEL program. So, you know, like I said, our program is very rigorous. They have assignments, they have journal entries, they have discussions that they do within their group. Some of their time is spent face-to-face, some of that time is all online module. And so what they're doing aligns with the same state-approved framework that's used for the Novice Teacher Mentoring Program and for teacher evaluation, for tests. And so the purpose is to help them work smarter and not necessarily harder. Okay. So typically how it works is the project director at the school district gives a one-time option approval that anyone in the APPEL program and their mentor are able to use the APPEL mentoring guidelines instead of strictly following something that is set out by the mentoring program. APPEL novices may substitute their assignment, any activities, their reflections, and any artifacts that are produced as a result of what they're doing in APPEL with the mentoring. The items must align with the APPEL Novice's PGP, which most of the time, as everyone knows, brand new teachers are typically working on classroom management. And so most of the time, the PGP is going to align with that, and then what they're doing in APPEL will directly align with something involving classroom management. And so you can see where it all kind of falls together, and you can really assist them to determine whether that aligns. And the same procedures are used as the mentoring program to substitute. So if you were going to require, as a project director, that they turn in something for you that shows that mentoring took place for that hour in that month, then they would be able maybe to turn in the same assignment that they turned in for APPEL, and that way you're assured that they've done that, or they produced an artifact and they're able to give that to you. So you decide, as the project director, along with the mentor, which module to complete, whether it's going to be something in Survive and Thrive, or it's going to be something that directly involves APPEL. Okay, so here's a typical scenario. The mentor and the novice meet. The novice has allowed the mentor to view the PGP and the APPEL online module prior to meeting. So you'll see when the APPEL teacher pulls up their MOODLE classroom, they'll have several selections under their MOODLE classroom. They can select. One of those will be their APPEL classroom. So they'll click into their APPEL classroom, and you will see the same module that they see. It shows you the assignment, the activity, the journal reflection, and then you can make a final determination as to whether that particular module aligns with the PGP. And after you discuss and you have some reflection time between the mentor and the novice, then you can assist the novice, and that would include observations. If it has something to do with classroom management and procedures, then maybe you would want the novice teacher to come to your classroom and watch how you make transitions with your fifth graders from one thing to the next. And that would help your novice teacher then to see it in action and actually being implemented, and help them to go back to their classroom and implement that as well. So the APPEL module now substitutes for the novice teacher mentoring module. Recently, with our Year 2 APPEL novices, I've had lots of questions about this, and so I'm just going to explain a little bit about how EdTPA came about. There has been a nationwide push for a performance-based assessment. I know that most of you will probably remember Praxis 3. That was a performance-based assessment. Well, now they've come up with, bigger, better, faster, stronger, less expensive ways for us to do a performance-based assessment for teachers, and one of these ways is the EdTPA. It was one of the only ones that had actually been developed and in use at the time that ADE set up the pilot for a performance-based assessment, and so that's what we went with. And our Year 2 APPEL novices must prepare a submission to EdTPA in order to complete the APPEL program. A lot of states have piloted EdTPA to get baseline data on the assessment and to gauge whether or not this would be potentially used either as a requirement to complete a teacher prep program or as the final licensure requirement, kind of like what the Principles of Learning and Teaching exam does now. State Department officials set up the pilot. It includes 2 college and university groups and the APPEL group. And this is so data can be gathered and evaluated with feedback from beginning teachers in order to make informed decisions in the future. But since this is a pilot, the score received on EdTPA will not affect completion of the APPEL program. However, they do have to prepare and upload a submission to EdTPA in order to complete the program. It's important that teachers do their best on this, since APPEL is the largest group in the pilot and will likely be a huge determinant if this assessment is going to be a requirement in the future. EdTPA was chosen specifically because it aligns so well with the Danielson framework for teaching. APPEL teachers were provided with an alignment of EdTPA with both InTask, which is also Arkansas Teacher Standards, and with the framework for teaching, and they should make those documents available for the mentor and the evaluators. All monthly modules that they're completing in APPEL directly align with EdTPA, and the assignments are all EdTPA related. And every assignment, journal discussion, and artifact that's produced for EdTPA can be substituted for a mentoring module. So this means that teachers get the advantage of their mentors' help with things like videotaping and analysis and proofreading. These artifacts can also be used for tests and uploaded to Bloomboard. The mentee should discuss with the mentor and the evaluator about what they are working on for EdTPA, how it aligns with mentoring and tests, and then as they sit down with the mentor and their evaluator to review and update their PGP, they should talk about aligning the goals on the PGP with the work that they'll be doing on EdTPA, and I think most of that probably took place back in the fall semester as Year 2 teachers were sitting down with their evaluators to look at their professional growth plan. So that way, everything is in alignment, no work's being duplicated, and the one artifact that they produce as a result of work on their EdTPA can be uploaded to APPEL Classroom, can be used for mentoring, and can be used for tests. So this allows APPEL teachers, again, to work smarter and not necessarily harder as they go through the program, because it is overwhelming to be a first-year teacher and have all the duties and responsibilities for teaching and learning. In addition to being in a program and going through your teacher preparation at the same time. And so really what we're trying to do is align everything across the board so that they can see the connection in all of this and that it's not all piecemeal. It all comes together to help them to get better faster. That's our goal, is to make them a better teacher as quickly as we possibly can get them there. Okay, so any APPEL novice that's employed in a private school setting is still required to be mentored. They must be mentored by a trained and certified mentor, and they're still mentored for the 2 years or the 4 semesters. So it's the same regardless of whether they're in a private school or in a public school. The mentoring still must take place, it still must be documented, and they still must have a mentor who's been trained in the state model and who has proof of that. Okay, so then, I included this handy dandy chart in the last presentation that is up on the website, just to show the differences in traditional, non-traditional, the PPTL, the tech permits, library media specialists, and school counselors. It's just a quick guide for you to look and see, okay, I forgot, how many semesters am I supposed to mentor an APPEL teacher? Well, that's 4 semesters, but okay, if they're in an MAT program, is that any different? Well, yes, it is. So, our APPEL folks have the option of working with their mentor, specifically regarding what they're doing in the APPEL program. You can work with your non-traditional route teachers in the same manner no matter what program they're going through. You know, I mean, the MAT program, they're going through coursework. There are assignments and things that they must do, same as APPEL or someone who's in Arkansas Teacher Corps. And so, you know, use your best judgment there. Help your novices in the best way possible. And really, you know, gird them up with that good help that's very specifically related to what they're already doing, because they feel very overwhelmed if it seems like they're doing two different programs at one time. So we trust you with that. We know that you are all been there, done that, veteran teachers, and you know the lay of the land, and so we're going to give you full discretion when it comes to that sort of thing. And if you ever have questions or need any assistance with anyone that's considered non-traditional, just give me a call, and you see my number there, 501-371-1582. All right.
All right. And Ann, we actually have a couple of questions for you. One of the questions is, can the APPEL teacher totally skip the Survive and Thrive module and use an APPEL module?
Well, they could, and the reason they can do that is because Survive and Thrive is simply a guideline. It's not actually a module that must be completed. And so if they're starting now in January, some of those things that are in the beginning of the Survive and Thrive module aren't going to apply now. So as I said, just, use your best judgment. You're in that school, you know what's going on, and your novice teacher will tell you what they need. And so just, help your novice teacher the best way you can. And if you need to use some of those things that are available in the Survive and Thrive module, that's what it's there for. It's to give you references, it's to give you a guideline, so that you know the very best place to go to get the very best information to help your mentee.
Okay. One other question, could project directors get a copy of the APPEL work that the NTs are completing? Is there a way for them to get a copy of the work?
Ask your APPEL teacher. They'll be able to give that to you. They've probably already loaded their work into MOODLE, so they should have that in a Word document or some other format, and they can simply print that off and hand it to you, or email it to you, however you would like it, if you want it in electronic format. But yeah, just simply ask them for it, and they should be able to produce it for you.
Okay, perfect. One more question. Also, do the APPEL teachers receive documentation that they have completed the APPEL modules? If so, can this be used as the documentation of substitution of a module?
They do not get, each time they complete a specific module, they don't get a certificate or something that says, I've completed this particular module. At the end of the summer, and then again at the end of the fall, spring, in the spring, they'll get a professional development certificate. That professional development certificate comes directly from me to them, and it is proof that they have completed all of their summer instruction, which would be 105 clock hours of summer modules that they've completed. And then they also get a certificate at the end of the spring, or at the end of the year, that shows, it lists the modules, it tells you how many hours were completed, and so you could use those PD certificates that they receive as proof that they've completed the modules.
Okay, and then you have one more question. All right. How will you know that the APPEL novice has done another module and doesn't have to do the Survive and Thrive? So I'm assuming someone having to assign that, who would be...
Well, or that's, that's between the mentor and the mentee. And so they should have some sort of documentation of how they worked together, what they did. If there was, an artifact that was produced as a result of what they did in APPEL for that module, then ask for that. That would be your documentation. Like, for instance, for EdTPA, they must write a planning commentary. That's one of the things that we had them load as an assignment. And so you could ask them for that planning commentary. Same thing with an instruction commentary. They also have to write an assessment commentary, planning, instruction, assessment. And so, all of that lines up very well with Framework for Teaching. And they also have, that alignment that we give to them so that they can see exactly which modules, which assignments for EdTPA line up with which Framework for Teaching component. So it's all, kind of seamless is what we're trying to do, is make it like that. And so you can ask them for any assignment that they've loaded to APPEL that they had to complete, and they should be able to give it to you.
All right. I think that answers it. All right. Thank you, Ann. All right. We're going to move to Renee for beginning administrators.
Good afternoon. And there we go. I'm going to go through the BA mentoring program fairly quickly because it's pretty much identical to the teacher mentoring program as far as requirements and necessary documentation. There will be a couple of things I want to point out to you, so I don't want you to have to listen to me repeat the same thing that Mo has already said. The mentor and BA will continue this semester to work on the professional growth plan goals, the Survive and Thrive module. Both the BA and mentor will complete the surveys. They've done the Ed Prep survey for the fall, and as Mo said, the spring will be different. It will be the end of year mentoring program survey, and they will need to do the same thing this semester as they did in the fall semester. They'll print out their certificate of completion, and all parties will sign and give to the project director to keep on file for documentation. And as Mo also said, the survey from last semester is still open right now until January the 15th for anyone who needs to go back and finish that up. This is one thing that is different for the BA program as opposed to the NT program. On February the 15th, that's the last day for NTs and mentor pairs to be entered. No new BA pairs are ever entered second semester because all BAs begin mentoring only in the fall semester. So that's the big difference there with the teacher program. If you have new BAs who are employed this semester, and there usually are a few, they will enter the mentoring program next fall. So just keep a lookout for the commissioner's memos for the mentoring for next year. Now, if you happen to have a change you need to make in a BA mentor, you do need to let me know about that because we want to be sure the person's been trained for whatever reason, that you're having to make that change. So let's be sure that you're not putting someone in there that's not qualified or hasn't been through the training. Then, when we know that person's trained and can be a mentor, then you can notify Richard about making the change, and he'll go over those procedures with you in just a minute. May 1st, May 15th, as Mo has already stated, those are the final dates for completing everything. May 1st, the resource module will close, and the end-of-year mentoring program survey will open, and May 15th will be the last date for completing everything, having all your certificates printed off, everything signed, and all your documentation completed. Another difference, the mentor stipend for a beginning administrator mentor is $400 a year. and that's different from a novice teacher. If you have a mentor from another district, you can pay them as contract labor. The money follows the BA's district. So the BA's district will receive the grant money from ADE, and then the district can pay the mentor as contract labor. As far as accountability, BA mentors will, again, continue to collaborate with the BA by phone, email, text, any interactive technology, continue to work on the Survive and Thrive, and recommend resources to support the BA's professional growth plan. Again, the school district determines the method of verification that mentoring is taking place. So if the project director or district wants to require other documentation other than the certificates and so forth, that is up to the district. It may be that you want the BA to turn in some artifacts, maybe something they've completed from the Survive and Thrive, or from using a resource, maybe out of Bloomboard or Arkansas Ideas that supports their professional growth plan. You may want them to give you those artifacts. But again, that's a district decision as to whether or not you want to do that. So if you have any questions at any time after today, please email me. I'll be happy to help you or assist you in any way. And again, for procedures, you can contact Richard Wynn.
All right, so before we move to Richard, we have a couple of questions, and Mo, I'm going to address these to you. This one is, will there be a training for new mentors before the February deadline to enter new novice teacher pairs, and if so, where would that be?
Okay, you're asking about training for new mentors. The co-ops are the ones who hold the mentor training, so what I would suggest is that you contact your local co-op to see if they're holding a training. If they are not holding a training at your local co-op, they will know where trainings are being held.
All right, thank you. Okay, one more. Do the novice teachers and the beginning administrators both complete the module completion form again for the Survive and Thrive module in the spring, even if they have already completed the form during the fall semester?
Okay, yes, you do complete the second semester. You've got to think of mentoring in semesters. This is a brand new semester, and so they will complete the Survive and Thrive completion again, because this is spring semester, and this is like 1 semester, 2 semester, 3 semester, 4.
All right, thank you, Mo. All right, Richard, I think we are ready to move on to you. Richard is going to help you with any IT support that you need. He works through the procedures, and like I said, you've probably talked to Richard plenty of times on the phone. Many of you have. Richard, we'll let you go.
Hi, everyone. Most of this information may seem a little intense at first, but remember, all this will be available in the PowerPoint, and this video will be available. So if I seem to move too fast or anything, we can always review this at another time. So today we want to go over how to add a pair, delete a pair, change mentors, and how they will access Moodle. Basically, we want to make this as simple as possible, so what I'll do is I'll share a spreadsheet with you with the pairs that you had before. And this way you can update as you need, and you'll also have a visual representation of what you had before. I am asking for one bit of information we didn't have, which is an email address. And that way, if we do need to reach out to someone, we can do so. If you want to add a pair, just add a new line, place yes in the 4th column, and then just put the reason, say new. And then the term for them would be spring, since they're beginning at this point in time. To remove a pair, we don't want to actually delete any information, but with the 4th line, you can go ahead and just add yes, remove, and then change the term to fall only. And that way we can keep up with the information on our side. To change a mentor, Again, it's real straightforward. On the fourth column, you'll just put yes, mentor change, and then you'll go and just change the information. Now, to actually access MOODLE, they'll navigate to the website, which is oee.armoodle.k12.ar.us. When they click on it, it's pretty straightforward. There's only a few questions they'll ask. At this point, they'll self-enroll, and an email will be sent to them from MOODLE. If this doesn't happen, they can always reach out to MOODLE. Their number will be available in several different places. Once enrolled in the actual MOODLE program, the participant can go to the appropriate course. Now, the majority of your people are going to be novice teachers and mentors, so I'm using that for the example, but everything should apply the same with the BA program as well. Now, once they go to teacher induction, then they'll have the several different choices. You'll see teacher and novice teachers, LMS, novice counselors. In this case, we'll go to novice teacher. Now, this is important because most people will not have their LEA number, or they might have their school actual LEA, but it's going to be different when it's the district. In most cases, it's the 4-digit number with 3 zeros. The only real difference between BA is you're going to add a capital BA to the end. Now, you'll see that they can go ahead and enter in the LEA number, and you'll see we just used 1234 with 3 zeros. And when they enroll, once they're in the course, remember, the novice teacher and mentor will have access to the same course. There is no real connection between the two accounts, and that's why it's so important for them to meet and collaborate. Now, once they've enrolled, we also need their user profile information. It's, again, really straightforward. It's about 15 questions. And when they do this, that is going to give them access to the content. It also gives me access to information for, say, in this case, Teachscape and other uses. You can see the questions, again, are really straightforward. They'll choose their role, first name, last name, email address. With teaching license information, let's try to do the grade span. So if they are K through 4, that's going to directly impact what kind of Teachscape account they would get. It's also important to know which course, if they're doing, say, language arts or science or like, but really that grade span is what's going to give me what I need. Now, once they finish the user profile, you'll see they have access to Observation 1 and 2, and they also have access to the Survive and Thrive module. Now, the Survive and Thrive module itself, I'm not going to go through the actual content because that's definitely for Mo and Renee, but I am going to show how to navigate. And you can see it's very easy on the right-hand side, top and bottom of each page. You just click the arrows. Now, at the end of the Survive and Thrive module for both BA or NT, they'll have the survey. Now, this survey is not intense like the final surveys for the semester. So when they finish this, as you see, it's 4 or 5 questions. Once submitted, they're going to have access to the module completion form. Again, they'll just fill it out, just a few questions, they'll sign it, the mentor signs it, and then they will submit this to you.
All right. I think we're about to wrap it up unless we have more questions. One question, Mo, you might want to answer. We did have someone that lost connection, so anyway, but their question was, is it going to be any different the second semester in what project directors do? And so you may want to address that.
Okay. It is somewhat. We've gone over it, that, but unfortunately that particular project director did lose sound and sight, I think, or maybe they're just looking at me. One thing I wanted to let you know is that we will be putting all these PowerPoints that we have had up today, as well as the recording. Those are going to be put up on the Beginning Administrator webpage, as well as the Novice Teacher webpage. I am going to email to you all of the PowerPoints, project directors, and I also, with that email, will be a small survey asking how you like this format, and did it work well for you, because we certainly want to know how this worked for you. So anyway, just to let you know, all the PowerPoints will be emailed to you, and a short survey asking about the particular format that we did today.
Okay, and I do believe I have one more question. They were asking if they could count the hours that their mentors meet with novice teachers as PD hours, and that is actually a district decision, and the principal would determine that in conjunction with their district policy on whether those can be counted as professional development hours. So that would be something you would want to check into. I don't believe I have any more questions, though. Oh, we may have one more. Our internet might be moving a little bit slow. But I do want to say thank you to all of you project directors out there. I know what a task it is. I was actually a former project director, and I know that if you do what you're supposed to do and you do the job right, it does take time, and we really do appreciate your efforts. And just watching this webinar today proves that you want to do a really good job. So kudos to you. Okay, we have a couple of more questions, and these may be addressed, Mo, to you. Will a mentor and novice pair who completed mentoring in December of 2015 need to complete the end of the year survey in May?
The answer is you only complete the survey in that particular semester. The preparation survey is available only in the fall, and the end-of-year mentoring program survey is available only in the spring. So if the pair finished in the fall, the answer is no, they would not be taking the mentoring survey in the spring. We will, because it's at least 2 semesters for everyone to be mentored, then we'll eventually catch them all. But the answer is no. They would not be taking the end of the year mentoring survey if they completed mentoring in the fall.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mo. Okay. We have another question. Richard, this one says, do we need to remove the pairs that have completed their work in December?
Well, in this case, they should have already been listed as fall only. Because since that did actually affect finance, if that is not the case, then we need to update that now.
All right, thank you. Mo, this one may be back for you. Can the trainers be added to the distribution list for project directors so we can keep up with updates?
Yes, and I have tried to do that. There have not been. The answer is yes. I will do that. Yes, thank you for that reminder. I appreciate it.
Conscientious project director out there.
Yes, and I appreciate that.
All right. And I think that may wrap it up. If you have any more questions and we just didn't get to them, or you didn't get your email in time, go ahead and email those in. Same address, same email address, and we'll get those answered back to you on a one-to-one basis. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we've really enjoyed doing this webcast with you, and hopefully this is something that we'll do in the future. Oh, gosh, I was just about to go off. We've got one more question, actually 2. So we'll keep going. This is actually open for another hour, but we'll see how that goes. It says, do the novice teacher mentor and beginning administrator mentor pairs have to be re-enrolled in spring of 2016 if they are the exact same pairs that they had in the fall of 2015. Richard?
In this case, they would already have access, so they should be good to go. Now, if for some reason they lost their password or something like that, that's the one thing that I cannot help with. So they would have to contact MOODLE directly.
All right.
Sandra?
Yes.
If they're talking about, are they talking about listing their pairs or just enrolling to access mentoring?
Well, it says actually if they have to be re-enrolled, do they have to be re-enrolled in the spring if they are the exact same pairs as they were in the fall?
Well, all the pairs have to be entered again. Yeah, I mean, they'll have to enter on a pairing form.
Okay, Richard, the pairing form, the little change on that might be something a little bit different.
For this, it's going to be real straightforward. The spreadsheet that I'm going to share back actually has all your pairing information. So unless there's a change, you'll be able to look at it, verify everything's right, and you'll be good to go.
Okay, and I think we can answer this one. It says, when will Survive and Thrive be open for the spring of 2016?
The Survive and Thrive module is already open.
And it should be the
All of
updated
them.
versions?
Yes.
They're all updated.
The updated revised versions, and it's already open, and it has been for several weeks.
Okay, good. All right. That may be it. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. And like I said, we'll be happy to answer any more questions that you have. And at least now you know who all of us are. And just feel free to contact us here at ADE. Thank you.
Thank you.